the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rob Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Armed Forces of the Philippines vow stronger resolve after court acquits DFP consultants in kidnap slay case. Government forces neutralize Sulu's number 2 most wanted in armed clash. Oil companies raise gasoline prices today. PBBM distributes 124 ambulances to Eastern Visayas to boost healthcare.
Good day everyone, as well as our troops at Camp Emilio Aguinaldo, Quezon City. Today is Tuesday, August 19, and we will bring you the latest news from the armed forces and other information around the Philippines. In behalf of Rof Suzon, I am Jhai Simbajon for AFP Community News. And the Armed Forces of the Philippines acknowledged the Taguig Regional Trial Court's decision acquitting 2 National Democratic Front of the Philippines consultant and 3 others over the 2007 kidnap slay of a soldier and a rebel returnee. AFP spokesperson Colonel Francel Margaret Padilla said the acquittal of Tirso Alcantara, Renante Gamara, and their co-accused is not an endpoint, but a call to double their resolve. She stressed that the ruling highlights the importance of sustained military operations, intelligence-driven actions, and community engagement. Colonel Padilla reaffirmed the AFP's commitment to uphold public safety and urged remaining CPP-NPA members to abandon armed struggle and embrace peaceful means.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And combined forces of the 41st Infantry Battalion, Philippine National Police Maimbong, RMF BIA 14, and Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency neutralized the number 2 most wanted person in an encounter on Barangay Kapok, Punggol, Maimbong. Alganer Dahim alias Wangbul linked to multiple murders, including the killing of Police Colonel Kasim, and large-scale drug operations died during the clash. Recovered from the site were magazines, ammunition, and other war material, while 4 soldiers were slightly wounded by grenade shrapnel. The troops vowed to sustain joint security operations to protect communities and ensure peace in Sulu.
DWDD Armed Forces News. Armed Forces Radio.
And now some information from Gina about 73rd Infantry Battalion joins youth-led tree planting in Sarangani. Gina?
Yes, Jhai, the Bravo Company of the 73rd Infantry Neutralizer Battalion joined a tree planting activity at Mulak Riverfront Garden Resort, Barangay Kulaman, Sarangani. Spearheaded by the Sangguniang Kabataan and Barangay Council, the event gathered Bureau of Fire Protection, JAS personnel, and community volunteers. A total of 100 cherry blossom seedlings were planted. The 73rd Infantry Battalion reaffirmed its support for youth-led initiatives that foster peace, unity, and ecological preservation. This is Gina reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Gina.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And 4th Infantry Diamond Division scored another victory against the Communist Terrorist Group following an encounter in Barangay Gihan, Impasugong, Bukidnon. Backed by artillery fire and close air support, joint government forces from multiple battalions engaged NPA fighters, neutralizing 2 rebels and seizing 5 firearms along with war materials. Brigadier General Seyfred Tubalado, commander of the 403rd Infantry Brigade, said back-to-back victories prove there is no safe haven for insurgents. He also stressed that the Army's combined arms capabilities ensures quick, precise, and overwhelming response to enemy movements.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And rival groups formally settled their rido in Mango Grove, Dato Angal, Midtimbang, Maguindanao del Sur. The 33rd Infantry Makabayan Battalion, together with local leaders, security forces, and MILF representatives, facilitated the settlement of groups led by Zainuddin Kiaro and Kagigani Adam. Both embraced in an emotional moment and pledged to uphold peace, later signing a written agreement to seal their commitment. Governor Dato Ali Midtimbang and military officials stressed that the accord is a vital step toward lasting peace and security in the province.
DWDD Armed Forces News. Armed Forces Radio.
And from our reporter on the ground, let us hear the report of Ami about Marine Battalion Landing Team 9 earns recognition for swift flood response in Puerto Princesa, Palawan. Ami?
Marine Battalion Landing Team 9 received recognition yesterday for their prompt action in assisting residents affected by severe flooding in Puerto Princesa City, Palawan. The unit quickly mobilized during heavy rains, providing rescue and relief support to flood-hit communities. Local officials commended the Marines for their dedication and swift response that helped save lives and ensure public safety. The award highlighted the vital role of MBLT-9 in disaster response and community service. This is Ami reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Ami.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And the 12th Infantry Likim Battalion took part in the Linggo ng Kabataan 2025 celebration at Dabong Elementary School, Haniway, Iloilo. Organized by the Sangguniang Kabataan of Barangay Dabong, the event featured traditional games and a feeding program to promote camaraderie, wellness, and unity among the youth, the army, and the community. Barangay officials, teachers, and Youth for Peace chapters also joined to show support for youth development and active participation in community building. The 12 IB's involvement highlight its commitment to peace, order, and nurturing future leaders.
DWDD Armed Forces.
And for our national news,
DWDD National News.
oil companies raised gasoline prices and reduced the cost of diesel and kerosene today. Shell, Sea Oil, Petrogas, Clean Fuel, Caltex, Jhai Petroleum, PTT Philippines, and Flying V raised gasoline prices by 60 centavos per liter, but the diesel prices decreased by 80 centavos per liter. Meanwhile, Shell, Sea Oil, Caltex, and Flying V also dropped kerosene prices by 90 centavos per liter. Oil industry sources attributed this week's price adjustment to recent forecast of the U.S. Energy Information Administration's August short-term outlook drop.
DWDD National News. Armed Forces Radio.
On the other line, let us hear more from Leonor about 88th Infantry Battalion supports relief distribution and Impasagong, Bukidnon. Leonor?
88th Infantry Battalion assisted in distributing food pack relief supplies to 348 beneficiaries in Sitio Ananaso and Milano, Barangay Calabugao, Impasugong, Bukidnon. Together with Department of Social Welfare and Development Field Office 10 and local officials, the initiative was carried out under the Lawa of Binhi program of DSWD. Impasugong Mayor Mai Okinlay and Barangay Calabugao Council led by activity with full support from the Municipal Social Welfare and Development Office and Municipal Agriculture Office. The 88th Infantry Battalion reaffirmed its commitment to community support and partnership in local humanitarian efforts. This is Leonor Tanap reporting for AFP Community News, 1FP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Leonor.
DWDD National News.
And the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation will roll out 20,000 pesos worth of outpatient medicines annually beginning August 21. This is under the expanded guaranteed and accessible medications for outpatient treatment or GAMOT program. GAMOT program covers 75 essential medicines commonly prescribed for conditions such as infections, asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, heart ailments, and certain nervous system disorder. To access the benefit, members must be enrolled in a Yakap clinic where a primary care physician will issue prescriptions bearing a unique prescription security code.
DWDD National News.
And the Pag-ibig Fund has earned 4.27 billion pesos from its investments in the first half of 2025. This is up to 51.79% higher from the same period last year. Pag-ibig Fund Chief Executive Officer Marilyn Acosta said that the gains helped push the agency's net income to 28.04 pesos billion for the 6-month period. Acosta added that it is the agency's responsibility to manage and grow the Filipino Workers Fund with prudence and integrity so they can continue delivering affordable home financing and provide members with competitive returns on their savings.
DWDD National News. Armed Forces Radio.
And now let us hear more updates from GEO about 10th Infantry Division recognizes 89th Infantry Battalion troops. GEO?
The 89th Infantry Macatao Battalion and 3 of its personnel were recognized during the 19th founding anniversary of the 10th Infantry Aguila Division in Mawab, Davao de Oro. 10 ID Commander Major General Alan D. Hambala led the awarding ceremony, commending their dedication and professionalism. Captain Ariel O. Asentista, First Lieutenant Quincy N. Duhig, and Corporal Edmarc L. Pedroso received individual awards, while the 89th Infantry Battalion earned a certificate of recognition for exemplary performance. Lieutenant Colonel Antonio G. Bulao lauded the honors as a testament to the unit's integrity, discipline, and commitment to service. This is Gio reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Gio.
DWDD National News.
And the Department of Justice designated Undersecretary Jesse Andres as acting director of the National Bureau of Investigation. This came after former Jaime Santiago resigned irrevocably from his post. DOJ spokesperson Miko Clavano IV said that the department was surprised by Santiago's decision, describing it as personal and irrevocable. Clavano mentioned that Santiago carried out many proactive initiatives in the agency as a former policeman and a former judge. He then emphasized that the resignation should not be seen as politically motivated.
DWDD National News.
And the last stages of the preparations for the first parliamentary elections in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region are now ready. Commission on Election spokesperson John Rex Ludenko said that the technical and necessary supplies are now ready. He also noted that the poll body has completed the local source review of the automated system, the field testing, and mock elections. Ludenko said the printing of around 2.3 million official ballots would start on August 24, followed by the training of electoral board members and the deployment of materials and personnel.
DWDD National News. Armed Forces Radio.
From First CRG, let us hear more from Meljoy about 120 citizen volunteers embark on a basic citizen military training in Pangasinan. Meljoy?
Yes, good afternoon. The 702nd Infantry Defender Brigade took part in the opening ceremony of the Basic Citizen Military Training Class 07-2025, spearheaded by the 1st Regional Community Defense Group at Camp Lieutenant Tito B. Abat, Manawag, Pangasinan. Colonel Charles D.C. Castillo, Infantry MNSA Philippine Army, Deputy Brigade Commander, represented the unit as guest of honor and speaker, where he underscored the Army's core values of honor, patriotism, and duty as the bedrock and cornerstone of the volunteers' journey as Army reservists. A total of 120 individuals from Region 1 answered the call of service and discipline. The Basic Citizen Military Training is a cornerstone in developing the Armed Forces of the Philippines Reserve Force, vital force multiplier of the brigade and its shift towards territorial defense operations, protecting communities, and ensuring readiness both in times of war and during disasters. This is Meldry Nasho Arok reporting for AFP Community News, One AFP for stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Meljoy.
DWDD National
And the Department of Agriculture reported that cases of African swine fever are significantly lower compared to the same period in 2024. DA spokesperson Assistant Secretary Arnel de Mesa said that most of the cases last year were also in August. Now in mid-August, there are 51 cases, which is significantly lower than last year. In 2024, the DA recorded an ASF resurgence in the third quarter, with initial cases emerging in Lobo, Lian, Rosario, Calatagan, and Lipas City in Batangas. For this year, however, the message said a resurgence may be unlikely due to the rollout of government-controlled vaccination and stricter border measures.
DWDD National News.
And President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. led the distribution of ambulances for the Eastern Visayas region at a ceremony in Ormoc City, Leyte. 124 ambulances were turned over to various municipalities and cities in Eastern Visayas under the Medical Transport Vehicle Donation Program of the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office. Marcos said this is their continuing effort to strengthen the healthcare system. To date, the PCSO has distributed 1,297 ambulances nationwide since the start of the Marcos administration.
DWDD National News. Armed Forces Radio.
From Northern Luzon Command, let us hear some information from Joan about 5th Infantry Division. Commander meets with Kalinga Governor to strengthen peace efforts in the province. Joan?
In a continuing move towards sustaining peace and ensuring an insurgency-free Kalinga, Major General Gulliver L. Cineras, Philippine Army, Commanding General of the 5th Infantry Division, joined by Brigadier General Renante M. Salvador, Philippine Army, Brigade Commander of the 503rd Infantry Brigade, and Lieutenant Colonel Jim Rick B. Obias, Infantry Philippine Army, Commander of the 103rd Infantry Battalion, paid a courtesy visit to Kalinga Governor James S. Eduba to discuss enhanced collaboration and new peacekeeping initiatives for the province. The officials engaged in a strategic dialogue with Governor Eduba, focusing on reinforcing partnerships between the national and provincial governments. Central to the discussion was the upcoming launch of the Kalinga Convergence for Community Resilience, Empowerment, and Sustainable Transformation this September, a multi-sectoral initiative aimed at empowering communities and fostering long-term peace and development in the province. And also, the officials discussed exploring other avenues to collaborate on peace, security, and development, including localized peace engagement initiatives to encourage remaining armed members of the communist terrorist group to return to the mainstream society. Governor Eduba expressed his full support for the initiatives, emphasizing the importance of strong collaborations among stakeholders. The visit signals a more strengthened commitment to a whole-of-government and whole-of-nation approach in building resilient, empowered, and peaceful communities across Kalinga. This is John Sagaok reporting for AFP Community News, One AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Joan.
DWDD National News.
And Senate President Francis Escudero said the upper chamber has every intention to conduct mandatory random drug testing for its officials and employees. Escudero made the assurance in his reply to the letter of the Senate Minority Leader Vicente Soto III, seeking drug testing in the Senate to maintain a drug-free workplace. The Senate leader answered that he fully joined Soto in this important initiative. He added that on March 20, the Senate entered into a memorandum of agreement with the East Avenue Medical Center to facilitate the drug testing of all Senate officials and employees.
DWDD National News.
And a total of 120 distressed overseas Filipino workers were repatriated from Laos, Myanmar, and Cambodia following a coordinated anti-trafficking operation in Mekong River region. The group of OFWs arrived at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. The operation, which involved multiple government agencies, is being hailed as a major success in the country's ongoing fight against human trafficking and illegal recruitment. The Interagency Council Against Trafficking said 77 Filipinos were rescued from Laos, 38 from Myanmar, and 5 from Cambodia.
DWDD National News. Armed Forces Radio.
And now more updates from Zimboy about Western Mindanao Command boost reservist training and professional development. Zimboy?
The Western Mindanao Command or West Mincom is strengthening its commitment to reserve force development during a 2-day activity hosted by 1st Infantry Division in Kapagatian City. Captain Edwin Elo, Philippine Navy, led discussion on training assessment and evaluation of ready and affiliated reserve units operating in the West Mincom Joint Operational Area. On the second day, Major General Gerald Kangan, Philippine Air Force, spearheaded the continuing education and development program to enhance reservist professional growth. West Mincom reaffirmed that continuous training and education are vital in ensuring reservists remain capable, reliable, and ready to address evolving security challenges in Western Mindanao. This is Jimboy reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Jimboy. Another from Solcom. Let us hear from Jess about government forces recover stockpile of weapons in Camarines Norte. Jess?
Yes, good afternoon. Government forces recovered a cache of firearms and ammunition belonging to the CPP-NPA in Barangay Malaya, Labo, Camarines Norte on Monday, August 18, 2025. Based on reports from the 201st Infantry Brigade, elements of 16th Infantry Maglilingkod Battalion, 85th Infantry Sandiwa Battalion, and the Philippine National Police launched the operation after receiving a tip from a concerned citizen on the presence of hidden war material in the area. Seized during the operation were 6 M16A1 rifles, 1 AK-47 rifle, a Claymore-type anti-personnel mine, and 195 rounds of live ammunition. The recovery of these weapons foiled their potential use in attacks against government forces and civilians, further degrading the armed capability of the communist terrorist group. All recovered items were turned over to the proper authorities for documentation and disposition. This is just from Solcom reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Jess. And for our final news, Tropical Depression Waning has slightly accelerated as it turned to exit from the Philippine area of responsibility. Pag-asa weather specialist Chanel Dominguez said Waning is unlikely to directly affect the country throughout the forecast period. The tropical depression is also unlikely to affect the coastal waters of the country. While the southwest monsoon is on its temporary weakening stage, the easterlies has resurfaced and now affecting the Visayas, Bicol region, Mimaropa, Zamboanga Peninsula, northern Mindanao, Caraga, Davao region, and Quezon, where cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms would prevail. And that's all for today's broadcast. Thank you for joining us, especially to our audience in our Facebook page, AFP Radio DWDD. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow for more updates, same time, same station. Again, this is Jhai Simbajon for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a Stronger Philippines.
Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rob Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio, 1 AFP for a